What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Quavo's second solo album, Rocket Power. Of course, this is Quavo's first solo album in 5 years, and of course, Quavo's first album since his nephew and former Migos compatriot Takeoff, of course, was tragically killed towards the end of 2022. Now, in the interim, because before Takeoff had passed, Migos been pretty fraught, right? Offset had basically left the group. Quavo and Takeoff released Only Built for Infinity Links as a duo project. And then right after that, Takeoff was killed, obviously. And, since then, Quavo saluted Takeoff at the Grammys in terms of a homage to memorial type performance, like the Family Opera mask on, pretty powerful visual. And then more recently at the BET Awards, Quavo and Offset seemingly buried the hatchet and performed Bad and Bougie together in honor of Takeoff. And that was a moment that obviously went very viral, almost brought a tear to my eye, because that was just so awesome to hear. And I think one, you feel for them as people and family, losing someone so close to them, but also just I think like musically, it had been clear long before they had started to split or Takeoff past that the Migos were always better together. We got one solo album from each of them. Offset has one coming up pretty soon as well, his second. But it was clear that Migos were at their best when they were doing their thing. And, I'm not really sure how much of it is label issues with quality control and money issues and things of that nature. It's not super clear to us. But either way, Quavo has released Rocket Power, as the name suggests, as the feature list where posthumous Takeoff is all over this. This is a love letter to his late nephew, his brother for life, Takeoff. And it's clearly better than Quavo Honcho, the debut solo album from Quavo. It's much better than Huncho Jack, the collab album Quavo did with Travis Scott a few years ago. This is, I think, shows you the appeal of Quavo as a rapper and what has often made a lot of his lackluster features in the last 5 years stand out, because the talent was always so prevalent and just felt like we just needed Quavo to lock in a certain way. It's unfortunate that it had to be something so tragic to cause this, of course. But I think even the songs on Rocket Power that aren't about Takeoff, that are just fun, Quavo does sound rejuvenated on those as well. So I liked Rocket Power quite a bit. It's long, 18 songs, 51 minutes. We could have definitely trimmed some of this, but there's a lot to like about it. And let's just go right into it. Patty Cake. Goddamn. That's a banger. Is that track 2? Takeoff sounds so good on that. Steals the song, basically. But Quavo holds his own as well. To me, that's just like that's the number one banger on this. Sounds fantastic. Really liked it. Then right after that, you have Mama Told Me, which is a fire verse from Quay. Energetic delivery. That's what we've always wanted. It has been missing more lately. Is Quavo? We want Quavo committed on the mic, because when he is, and whether he's using autotune or not, if he's energetic, it really shines through. There are songs later in the track list where he is using autotune, but he's using it really well, because I think the rest of his delivery is coming through as well. So Mama Told Me, also awesome. Who With Me, right after that. I thought the hook was a bit annoying on that, but then a few songs later you have Where Can I Start? Awesome use of autotune. Wall to Wall I thought was good. Turn Your Click Up, really great Future feature. I've never been the biggest Future guy. He's always been hit or miss for me. Very catchy hook, very catchy Future performance. I think at this point the album starts to get a little long. Back Where It Begins, Takeoff Future again. Take isn't nearly as memorable on this as he is in Patty Cake, but alas, still nice to hear him. You have Young Thug on Focus, sounds pretty good. Stain right after that. I thought that one was pretty awesome. Fun beat from Quavo, and he's able to hold his own. You have someone really hot, rising quick like Baby Drill on the song, but Quavo holds his own. I think it's pretty good. Rocket Power, towards the end, the title track. Perhaps some of the best storytelling Quavo's done, certainly the best he's done in a long time. I suppose we could look back to like the no label mixtape days, but man, that one really stood out to me in terms of Quavo just talking about his life and his come up and his family and things like that, and using auto tune but using it well. Like that, I think hearing a song like that, and hearing something just so committed to as Patty Cake, or last year with the Takeoff album, so a song like Hotel Lobby, of course, which became a big hit. When Quavo's locked in, he's great. And I think when Migos really blew up in the lead up to and following Culture, initially Quavo was held up as the Migo, right? The hottest feature, the most desirable feature. Goddamn, 2016, the only feature that mattered was Quavo feature, right? We're a long time removed from that. I think since that moment has happened, we got the other Culture albums that weren't nearly as successful. Offset really, I think, kind of lapped ahead of Quavo in terms of being a rapper, and Takeoff, perhaps belatedly, got a lot of love for being a really strong rapper as well, even if he just wasn't someone who's really going to brag and talk about himself. Obviously, a soft-spoken guy. And at that point, I think a lot of people had Quavo as their least favorite Migo, at least musically, right? He's a fun celebrity too. But hearing Rocket Power, and hearing him on some of the best songs in Culture 3, hearing him on Only Built for Infinity Links last year, like, he's got it in him. And I just hope he can continue to find inspiration to make like really committed music in the future again, when you're not making something directly about your fallen brother. Curious how the Offset album goes. I can't imagine it's nearly as much about Takeoff, given that Takeoff was seemingly closer with Quavo around the time of his death. We'll see. And then the last track, which I skipped over, Greatness, I think is just great rapping from Quavo as well. That was the lead single here. But shout out Quavo. Again, sad that it had to be tragedy to get some of his best work in a few years, but alas, that's what happened. R.I.P. Takeoff, R.I.P. The Rocket. Just watch that BET Awards performance again. Just the love in that room for Bad and Bougie. Watching Quavo and Offset perform that song like they've done countless times. They could do that shit in their sleep. Again, so happy that they were able to link like that, and I hope that down the line, maybe they'll make some music together again. Even if they're not going to unite as Migos, quote unquote, maybe they'll feature on each other's songs one day. We'll see. But in the meantime, that's Rocket Power. Let me know, how'd you feel about Quavo's second solo album? What was your favorite song? And for more rap reviews, more music reviews, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.